Holy smokes, Canucks fans. Did you just see what happened in Abbotsford last night? The baby Canucks just pulled off an absolutely stunning overtime victory against the Texas Stars to take game one of the AHL Western Conference Final. But here's what's got everyone talking. This wasn't just any win. This was a statement game that has major implications for both the farm system and the big club. Stick around because we're breaking down every single play that led to that game winner. Plus, I've got some insider details about which prospects just boosted their NHL chances with that performance. Now, let's dive into the intro, and then we're going to break down and recap game one of the AHL Western Conference Final between the Abbotsford Canucks and the Texas Stars. Let's go ahead and dive right into it. What's up, guys? Welcome to the line change. And once again, we're going to recap game one of the AHL Western Conference Final between the Abbotsford Canucks and the Texas Stars. As always, bringing us this recap is Canucks Army's one and only Dave Hall. So let's just not waste any more time. Let's go ahead and just dive right into it. The Abbotsford Canucks had never crossed paths with the Texas Stars, let alone scored off in the high-stakes environment of an AHL Western Conference Final. That changed on Thursday night at the Abbotsford Center, where the Pride of Fraser Valley hosted Game 1, riding the wave of a dominant 5-0 shutout in Colorado to clinch their spot in the series. But with no shared history between the two foes, there was only one question: would there be sparks? Putting any worry to rest, the Canucks offered a relentless effort, delivering a performance that kept the home crowd on their feet from start to finish. With the postseason best 46 shots on goal, it was a heart-stopping battle that stretched into overtime, where they sealed a thrilling Game 1 victory. While the Texas Stars struck first, courtesy of a former Canucks draft pick, finding the net early, as expected, of course. But this resilient squad clawed back, flipping the momentum with a ferocious attack that showcased their depth and determination. With the Stars' high-powered offense firing back and all four Canucks lines buzzing, the game was an exciting end-to-end affair that did not disappoint. Let's check out the starting lineup for this game. The Canucks enjoyed a decisive 5-0 win in Game 5 in the previous round, so why change a good thing? They rolled over lines for the series opener. Your first line was Baines, Mueller, and Carlson. Your second line was Nielsen, Sasson, and Lekramaki. Your third line was Blais, Kara, and Smith. And then, of course, your fourth line was Glover, Waters, and DiGiuseppe. Your first pairing for your first D pairing was Brisebois and McWard. Second pairing was Wolanin and Wu. Your third pairing was Kudryavtsev and Mancini. And then, of course, you had Artie Party, Artur Silovs in net. Let's take a look at the first period. The opening period hasn't been kind to the Abbotsford Canucks so far during this postseason run. And while Game 1's start wasn't a Picasso, they picked things up after their netminder bailed them out with a few saves out of the gate. With the Stars pressing early off the hop, former Canuck Cole Lind, who you'll hear often over the next few weeks, collected the puck in the high slot. After putting his initial shot attempt into the face of Arshdeep Baines, he followed up with a second crack. Setting up and reacting quickly was Artur Silovs, who got himself into the game with a quick butt and stick save. As most expected, it was the Stars who carried the majority of sustained pressure and chances in the early stages of the period. But the Canucks eventually eased their way into the game to grab some offensive looks of their own, with Arshdeep Baines rushing up the wing. He sent the shot toward Remy Poirier for his first touch of the night. Eventually catching up to his own rebound, he circled the zone before he found Guillaume Brisebois with a quick heads-up pass. Poirier saw it the whole way, flashing the glove for an easy save. Stars' netminder made a trio of saves, but it was Silovs who stole most of the action in the initial minutes. The Canucks collected themselves and responded with a few good looks of their own. Thanks to a lucky bounce off the referee, the Canucks transitioned quickly to set up the game's top chance. Sammy Blais, arguably the team's most involved skater for most of this game, found a streaky Nate Smith, who a sliding and stretched out netminder robbed. Buzzing off that save, the Stars made the home team pay. Texas would score to make it 1-0. Cole Lind from Cameron Hughes and Trey Taylor. Unable to clear the zone, Texas worked the puck down low to Cameron Hughes. As a result of Cole McWard losing an edge, he had ample time to find a creeping Cole Lind, who got behind the defense and rifled off a quick one-timer to open the series scoring. It was a goal that most had anticipated. Cole Lind was nearly destined to open the scoring in this series. It was written in the stars. Despite playing from behind, the Canucks didn't let that kill their building buzz. Sticking to their game and collecting several dangerous looks out front, Sammy Blais, a Stanley Cup winner, had been a mixed bag during these playoffs. While he's typically been the physical heartbeat and top scorer for this Canucks team, he showed some undisciplined antics in round 3. However, on Thursday, he was showcasing what he brings to the ice when he's performing at his best, whether that's throwing his body around to force turnovers and havoc or offensive looks. He shows the ability to games over and provide a much-needed spark for his team. Once settled down from allowing the game's initial goal, the Canucks settled into their own to finish strong. The only thing missing? A goal of their own. But that all changed in the dying minutes. Abbotsford would score to make it 1-1. Guillaume Brisebois from Linus Karlsson and Ty Mueller. After a big defensive breakup, Ty Mueller started up the ice, gaining the offensive zone with 4 Canucks strong. Receiving the pass was Linus Karlsson, who sent a quick one-touch pass to Guillaume Brisebois, streaking up the slot. Despite completely fanning on his initial shot, he stuck with the puck and slid it towards the net, thanks to a falling defender who took out his own netminder. The puck slid its way past the goal line. With 20 minutes in the books, each team enjoyed their first goals of the series, and the fans were gifted with a high-paced, back-and-forth affair. After one period, the shots were 13-12 in favor of Texas. Let's move on to the second period. The middle frame kicked off with Artur Silovs making a string of composed and athletic stops. First up was a breakaway chance as Jujhar Khaira threw a big hit in the offensive corner. The Canucks were caught admiring as they allowed the Stars to slip past all alone. Cool as a cucumber, Silovs set it aside with ease. Moments later, he was forced to stretch out once again as the Stars forward collected and circled off the half wall and into the slot. Although awkward, Silovs dropped down to stretch out his big toe and send the puck toward the corner. Finally, the trifecta. The Stars continued to press as they made a pretty play off the zone entry, leading to a loaded one-timer. Making his best Patrick Waugh impression, the young Latvian flashed the leather for the theatric whirlwind. Using those saves as fuel, the Canucks took over. Not only did they take the physical advantage, but they also continued to build under pressure, to the point where you could sense something was inevitable, and it was. Abbotsford would score to make it 2-1. Ty Mueller from Linus Karlsson and Arshdeep Bains. Thanks to the physical work by Jet Wu, the puck turned over to Bains, who made a slick backhand pass to send Karlsson and Mueller alone. Waiting to draw in pressure, Karlsson played the waiting game, faking the shot and forcing the defender to the ice. Canceling the shot, he went around and feathered the perfect crossfeed to a streaking Ty Mueller before he performed a one-handed redirect. It was a tremendous finish to a strong push from the Canucks, taking their first lead of the series and capturing all of the game's momentum. That sparked another stretch of intense pressure, highlighted by a Canuck power play. Unsuccessful, the Stars pushed back and tried to grab some of that momentum back, which they accomplished with a greasy goal. Texas would score to make it 2-2. Antonio Stranges from Trey Taylor. Starting in his own end, Antonio Stranges worked his way up Broadway, eventually zooming past the Canucks' defense, firing a relatively innocent shot towards Silovs. The puck jumped up into the air, where Stranges left Cole McWard in the dust and followed up to deposit the rebound past the netminder. Silovs had been incredibly sound up to this point, so it was an unfortunate blemish on his otherwise terrific game. Although it wasn't a 5-0 score, fans at the Abbotsford Centre were being treated to a very fast-paced game with tons to cheer about. Using that home crowd buzz, the Canucks made a push for a late tally for the late go-ahead. Max Sasson took the patented Kirill Kudryavtsev stretch pass and turned the Jets on up the wing. Driving the net, he stopped up, cut back, and found Chase Waters at the side of the net. He got the initial one-timer off, as well as a few jams at the net front before Stars defenders were able to clear the play. After another thrilling period at the Abbotsford Centre, this game would need the third period or beyond to settle the score. After 2 periods, the shots were 27-25 in favor of Abbotsford. Let's talk about the third period. Getting things going early was a line of Mueller, Baines, and Carlson, a misfit line that hadn't seen action with each other before Game 5 in Colorado. Guillaume Brisebois retrieved the puck in the corner and sent it to the front, where chaos ensued. First, Carlson chipped at the initial rebound, clipping Poirier's upper pad. Then Mueller patiently outweighted everyone. He finally threw a high shot on the netminder, handcuffing him to kickstart more havoc in front. Moments later, Max Sasson used his speed to beat out a dump in. Looking up, he found Phil Di Giuseppe hot off the bench, who dragged the puck before being stymied by the blocker of Poirier. Somewhat silently, that shot stood as PDG's 9th of the game after throwing 8 on net through the game's initial 40 minutes. The home team wasn't done though. Jujhar Khaira made a strong move, protecting the puck before dinging Nate Smith in the slot. They were pressing with every shift, grabbing several chances and 11 shots through the first half. Even more encouraging was the buy-in when they were getting from all 4 lines, with each collecting several chances to put their team up by a goal. By this time, it was safe to say that Remy Poirier was the Stars' first star by a country mile. As mentioned, it wasn't just their top skaters either. The fourth line was doing their part, doing everything they could to grab the go-ahead tally. After sitting on their heels for most of the third period, momentum finally went the Stars' direction. Jonathan Lacramaki took a high sticking penalty in the dying minutes, sending the Stars to their first power play of the night with a chance to take a very late lead. But the Canucks were 97.1% on the PK heading into the game, so what did you think would happen? They killed off the stretch, leading to an even score and a trip to overtime in Game 1. Final shots after 3 periods were 42-34 in favor of Abbotsford. Let's move on to overtime. The extra frame picked up where things left off, with the Canucks nearly cashing in early. Jonathan Lacramaki chipped the puck past the defender off the rush, sending him to the ice. Now all alone, he sent over a perfect cross-ice feed to Phil Di Giuseppe, who fired his 10th shot on net, with Archer Seelops stopping 4 of his eventual 36 on the night. In the overtime session, the puck found its way back into the Stars' zone. Credit to Jujhar Khaira for doing his best Alex Burrows impression, jumping up to catch the Texas clearing attempt. He found Nate Smith, who looked across the ice for Christian Wolanin, and Abbotsford would score to make it 3-2. Christian Wolanin from Nate Smith and Jujhar Khaira, allowing the puck to ricochet off the half wall. The veteran defender wasted no time, winding up for the big slap shot from distance. Despite playing an incredible game up to this point, Remy Poirier could not pick up the shot, allowing it to squeak through his 5-hole for the game-winning tally. Final shots were 46-38 in favor of Abbotsford. What a way to kick off the Western Conference Finals. There's one regret, it's that we can't replay every heart-pounding second of this relentless, high-octane clash. Despite conceding the early chances, the Abbotsford Canucks roared back with vengeance, all 4 lines firing on all cylinders. By the final buzzer, only 3 Canucks failed to register a shot, with 9 players racking up 3 or more in a 46-shot barrage. While the physicality didn't quite match the bruising Colorado series, heavy hitters like Sammy Blais, Jujhar Khaira, and Jet Wu brought plenty of intimidation to keep the Stars on edge. The game itself was thrilling, with both goaltenders stealing the spotlight with clutch saves that kept the Abbotsford Centre rocking. With Game 1 in the bag, Abbotsford heads into Game 2 with a chance to seize a commanding 2-0 lead in this best-of-7 series. What's next? The series stays in Abbotsford for one more game before jetting off to Cedar Park, Texas, for games 3 and 4. Game 2 is on Saturday, May 31st at 7 p.m. Pacific at the Abbotsford Center. So that's going to do it for this video. As always, as always, if you guys like this video, be sure to hit that like button. If you want to stay up to date on all your Vancouver Canucks, as well as your Abbotsford Canucks content, especially during this playoff run, be sure to smash that subscribe button and turn on your notifications. That way you don't miss a single video rather. Also, remember, you can find us on social media. You can find us on Facebook. Just search The Line Change to find our Facebook page. You can find us on Instagram at The Line Change. You can also find us on Twitter /X at LineChangeVan. You can also find us on TikTok at the.line.change.po. Feel free to give us a follow on all of our social media platforms. Of course, it is greatly appreciated. And if you prefer an audio version of this podcast, you can find us on both Spotify and Apple Podcasts. On Spotify, be sure to give us a follow as well if you choose to do so. It is, of course, as well greatly appreciated, as is rating us and reviewing us as well. But as I said, that's going to do it for this video. Also, before I end this video, I wanted to mention, if you guys haven't already, be sure to check out Nothing is Perfect. Their stream from the other day. Russell had me on the show. It was a great experience. I absolutely loved being on the show, being able to talk Canucks, give a little introduction to myself, to his audience. So yeah, if you guys aren't subscribed to Nothing is Perfect, go ahead and check him out. Be sure to subscribe. He's got some great content over there. He's covering the Abbotsford Canucks throughout this entire playoffs. He's also been covering the NHL playoffs as well. Great stuff. Definitely check him out. And hopefully I'll be able to have him on the show at some point. And who knows, maybe I'll do some more Abbotsford stuff with Russell over on Nothing is Perfect as we go into game 2 of the AHL Western Conference Final. But that's going to do it for me. As I mentioned, be sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.